Womb work. It's a word I've been hearing for a long time, and it has profound meaning. I think according to the internet and more of these feminine spaces, it's a pretty broad umbrella term that basically is just the idea of getting in touch with the womb. Womb work is healing the womb, is cleaning the womb, clearing the womb, crystallizing the womb. And really what that means in these spaces is getting in touch with our feminine cyclical cycle, getting in touch with the cycles of our body, and getting in touch with our femininity. This is from like a physiological level to an emotional level to a spiritual level. And that's so beautiful. I remember, maybe I'll link some books in the description, but I've read some books like Womb Awakening by Seren, Bertrand, something like that. It's a really popular book, and there's some other really cool books that I'll list below, and they're so beautiful, and they really get you in touch with the womb, especially in this more kind of new age spiritual way. And all that is so important. All of that is so important, and it's also getting in touch with it on a physiological level, knowing how the cycle works, knowing what's actually going on at what time of the month or menopause or before, just knowing our wombs very well physiologically, and then our femininity more spiritually. So it's deep healing because we've been disconnected from these things for a long time, and there's been a lot of pain with, burning witches and medicine women, and there's a lot of pain in the collective. So it's really about healing all that. I want to take it a step further today for all of you. All that still stands. All that is absolutely still womb work and very important. But what if we could use the mechanical, natural functions of our cyclical cycle of our womb to self-realize, to know thyself? Because if we don't know ourselves on a deep subconscious level, we will always be manipulated by the subconscious impulses that reach our conscious brain unknowingly and our conscious system unknowingly, and will always be ruled by these subconscious tendencies. So let's break this down a little bit. Man, when I say man, I mean humanity, is a broken mirror. And in our current state, humanity in our current state, and when I say that, I mean men and women. When we look at our reflection, it's as if a shattered mirror has been haphazardly put back together, and that reflection is obviously very distorted. But we're used to it. We think it's normal, and we actually don't even know anything else. But I like to think of it as in each of those shards, there is trapped consciousness. It's trapped in desire. It's trapped in fear. It's trapped in greed. It's trapped in pride. It's trapped in fear and desire, essentially. And it holds the consciousness hostage and asleep there to do its bidding. And we are kind of puppets to that in a way. We are puppets to our sub-selves. So what to do? Well, we can begin to observe these sub-layers. And in modern psychology, there's this concept, probably most of you already know it, of like the iceberg. So the tip of the iceberg is the conscious mind, and the bottom of the iceberg, which is way bigger, beneath the waters, is the subconscious mind, the subconscious person. And this is very true. What we know about ourselves is the tip of the iceberg. What we think we are, what we believe we are, is the tip of the iceberg. And the rest is beneath it. The rest of the identity is beneath it. So we can actually use the womb, the mechanical functions of the womb, to begin to look deeper into those waters, so we can see deeper into the layers of that iceberg, deeper and deeper and deeper into the water. It's a muscle. Like in the beginning, you can only see, this deep, and you grow that muscle. And the thing with the subconscious, or these desires, egos, you could call them, they're trapped consciousness, trapped into a particular will, into a particular desire. And we have many of them, like shards of a broken mirror, all carrying a different piece of our essence. But we can start to liberate ourselves from those distortions, from those illusions, through first observing them, through first knowing thyself. So the womb, in our fertile years, it works in a 28-day cycle, right? And so it cycles through time. Every month it does the same thing. If there's no conception, or there's no serious health problem or trauma, it's going to do the same thing over and over again. And this is how desire and fear works. It cycles through time. It does the same thing. Now, what actually is menstruation on a physiological level? It's a cleanse. It's cleansing the blood. In the blood is all of our spiritual information, all of our physiological information, all of our ancestral information, all of our past life information, all information about you, from the highest spiritual plane to the most physiological, is held in the blood. So if our menstruation is a cleanse, then we can use it to not experience the same thing over and over, to actually start to observe, to actually start to change ourselves. It's trying to cleanse you, so we can use it to take it a step further and start to cleanse our psychology, start to cleanse our spiritual selves, start to cleanse our energetic selves, start to cleanse our mental afflictions. So we'll circle back there when we talk about the cycles. Let's get back there soon. So let's break down the cycle then. We just talked a little bit about menstruation, but we'll get there. We need to see deeper in order to then see what's there, see the illusion, and liberate ourselves from it, so you can actually start to awaken consciousness. You can actually start to see reality clearer, and you can actually just start to stop being enslaved by suffering. You can start to be a freer individual. You can start to be more self-realized, more self-aware, free from suffering. This is not my idea. This is in every ancient mystery tradition. The Buddhists talk about it. Like, this is nothing new. I'm just adding this element of using the womb, the mechanical functions of the womb, because it mechanically just wants to cycle time. But we can ride that wave. Let's start after menstruation, even though menstruation is the first day of the cycle. Let's start after. So first you have the follicular phase, which is this buildup of energy. It's building the blueprint for life. It's building up to conception. It's getting the room ready for the baby. It's getting the room ready for life. It's getting the womb ready. And so there's this increase of energy. It's very yang. It's very, in a way, masculine. It's like electric. It's moving up. During this time, you might have an increase in sexual energy, creative energy, output. You might feel more social. You might feel more determined, more focused. You have a lot more to give, in a way, during this time, right? Because this fire is building. And then, from the follicular phase, you get to ovulation. Ovulation is only a few days, 2 days maybe. It's peak energy. This is when conception can happen. And in this, it's just this peak energy. You might want to go party. You have this increase of energy, follicular to ovulation. And the point is this is a really good time to reflect on what was observed, which we're coming up to in luteal and menstrual cycle, seeing what distortions, what egos came up during that time, what you were able to see, what you were able to observe. So you can actually use this increase of energy to apply to your yogic practices, to apply to your spiritual practices, to apply to your Kriya, whatever it is that you practice, to clean yourself, to heal yourself, to keep yourself balanced. You can apply, like almost apply that fire pressure to that. And you can start to rearrange your energy differently, transmute your energy, and comprehend and understand what it is that you observed in the darker phase of the cycle, the decrease of energy. So this is a time of comprehension, applying it to your yogic practices. And also, if you have any creative practices, you don't have to go out and party, although you totally can. We all like to party sometimes. But you can use this toward, poetry, art, whatever projects you might be working on. So after ovulation, there's sort of this decrease of energy. We're going into luteal phase now. This is going from ovulation and it's headed toward menstruation. And in this time, there's a decrease of energy. You might not want to use your mind as much. You might be more reflective, inward. This is when those things from the deeper subconscious start to bubble up a little bit. They start to rise to the surface. You're going to be able to see them more. So you might be more tender, you might be more inward, you don't have as much output energy. That's okay. And then we get to menstruation. And the days leading up to menstruation, maybe 2 or 3 days before this premenstrual phase, that's actually really strong. That, for me, is when the most egos come to the surface, the most deeper subconscious layers come up to the surface and start to manifest in me. This could be extreme irritability. This could be grief. This could be pain from something that happened a really long time ago and it's coming up and I'm like, what is going on? Sometimes it's not as understood, but this is a sacred moment because you get to see what wouldn't have come to the surface otherwise. It's almost like the bottom of the iceberg just starts coming up closer to the surface of the water and you're like, I can see it. Yes, when you can see it, then you can start to use it, harness it, then later comprehend it, eliminate it. That's a whole nother process. But we need to first see it. We need to first know ourselves, right? So it starts to come up. And in the menstruation, you can also feel this vital body's low, energy's low, and tender, sensitive. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. People say women are crazy. They're hormonal. No, women have an amazing opportunity to look deep into the subconscious. And this is a time to just observe. Don't try to change anything. Premenstrual and menstrual phase, don't try to change anything. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try to be a different person. Don't act on all your impulses, but notice your impulses. Notice the irritability. Notice the sensitivity. Notice what's coming up and go deeper. Don't be afraid. Go deeper. Go into it. Find out what's there because it's coming up through the blood and actually the body wants to cleanse it. The psychology wants to be cleansed. Or it's giving you an opportunity for it. It actually doesn't really want anything. It just wants to cycle through time, but it's coming up for a cleanse. Use that cleanse and start to see what's there. And as you comprehend these things later, as you understand them deeper, then they can actually come out in the blood. They can actually come out of the body. They can actually come out of your whole energetic body's systems. A lot of women are burdened by their cycle. They are, and honestly, I really feel for women who go through debilitating pain, debilitating periods, debilitating suffering, really. It's common, it's not normal though. And it is something that wants to, I'm telling you, it wants to leave you. It wants to leave your system. Don't resist it. Don't fall totally victim to it, even though of course it can really take away from the quality of life. I completely understand. But if you just think that this is your curse and there's nothing you can do, I'm telling you there's something you can do. Go deep into it. It might not have started with you. It might be ancestral pain. It might be collective pain. But regardless, don't think about where it's coming. It is in you. So it's yours to be felt and it's yours to be understood, no matter where its origins are. But it's not always just coming from, you can't always just look into your childhood and find everything there, although there's a lot there, of course. Just notice what's there. And I'm telling you, with more observation and comprehension, the pain should get better once you heal that particular pain. Autoimmune conditions, anything. Now, I will leave resources in the description, as always, of things, general, like physical things you can do to take care of your womb, different womb care practices, and they're really important. But this is like the step further. Now we're going deeper into the psychology. We're going deeper to the root. So take care of and even if you just get in touch with your womb through these physical practices, it can mitigate a lot of this pain and a lot of this stuff. So you don't even always have to go so deep. I'm just inviting you all to go a bit deeper if you want. And you can also think of, if there's maybe someone's watching this who wants to conceive or has been trying to conceive, and the sight of blood makes them really upset because it feels like failure. Well, I just want to invite you to think of it in a different way. That cleanse is a potential, that menstruation is clearing the way so that the next month is an even cleaner, clearer, crystalline space, crystalline womb for life to grow, whether that's physical life or spiritual life. So the more we really use it, that menstruation, to really take things out, to really see things deeper, so that in the next cycle it can be carried away, removed, then you're just making the space clearer. You're just making the space better. So you can look at your menstruation, even if it's very difficult every month, to see it as something that is clearing, making the room even brighter, even clearer. Your psychological room, your spiritual room, your womb to host a physical child. And in this time, the cervix is open. The cervix, which is sort of like, if anybody doesn't know what that is, it is the connector of the womb into the yoni. And when it opens, then the blood releases. But in that opening, it's sort of like a portal between the subconscious. When it opens, it's like a portal opens even psychologically between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, between the unseen realms and the seen realms. Because if you think about the womb, it literally is a portal. It can take a spirit, a soul from another dimension and braid it into form. So it is a portal. But it's also a portal between your subconscious and your conscious mind. And when it's open, use it. See what's there. It's not pretty, but it's not pretty for anyone. And the more you see it, the more you can liberate yourself. So what to do if you don't have a cycle right now for whatever reason, maybe, or you're menopausal, perimenopausal, you're postmenopausal, you're young, you haven't gotten your period yet, or perhaps you're having some health things and your period isn't there right now, you're breastfeeding, whatever. What to do? You can use the cycles of the moon. The new moon is like the bleed. The waxing is like follicular. The full moon is like ovulation, peak energy. The waning moon is like luteal. You can just look at it like that, because the moon is also like the womb, cycling time over and over again. And so as it cycles time, these waves from the moon hit the earth, and we can all use those waves the way we can use the waves of our womb. If you're a man, I heard that men, their sexual cycle is every 24 hours. I don't know anything about that. Maybe if you're a man, you can comment about it. But they go through a 24-hour cycle apparently. But yeah, then they can also use, if they don't connect to the moon, they can also use the sun, the rising sun, the sun in the zenith, the setting sun, and the midnight non-sun, and check in with themselves. See the sensitivity between those times. Notice themselves, start to observe themselves at those particular times. See what's going on psychologically, see what's going on emotionally. So yeah, the planets also hit our consciousness and subconsciousness in particular ways. And even though it's mechanical, well, we can use it to know ourselves deeper. So that's about it for womb work today. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, share, press whatever buttons are going to help other people see it. And see you next time.